Hey everybody, my name is Steve Moore, and today we're going to be talking about the new Hoka Mach 4. Very excited about this. This has probably been the shoe from Hoka that we've been most excited to see because it's such a different step away from what we've had before from the Mach. And I think it just is a perfect blend of a couple of different Hoka shoes that have been really popular for us. So thank you so much for checking out our channel. I'm Steve Moore and this is my running shop, Run More. We are a Main Street located brick and mortar shop in Westminster, Maryland. So let's get right into it. So this shoe is coming out in spring of 2021. The idea was finding sort of this fast, really good lightning speed that you're gonna find in like a Carbon X with an everyday shoe like a Clifton. So there's gonna be some stuff that we like about both shoes that we're gonna try to marry. You know, I know they've been trying to find a shoe to sort of do that, in the past couple years. We had a shoe like the Rincon, which is still a great popular shoe from Hoka that is sort of like a lightweight, faster version of the Clifton, maybe for somebody who was trying to find a shoe that if they were transitioning from something from an everyday trainer for maybe a faster shoe for workout days or race days. And that was sort of where we liked that Rincon in that category. And then we have a shoe like the Carbon X, which is your race day shoe. It's carbon plated. It's 180 bucks. It may be that shoe that you're going to put on for like some faster days or a race day, but you're going to be that's going to be your special sort of shoe. The Mach is hopefully going to be that shoe where you can have the best of both worlds. So when you're looking at the Mach, you can see it has two different distinct levels to it. So we have two different color palettes here to see that you can see that there's some distinctions between the two. So this top layer here is very soft, squishy foam. So it actually, to me, it feels even softer than you'd get in the Clifton. So it's really nice and squishy soft under there. But then on the bottom layer here, it's a rubberized foam blend. So to me, it actually feels like when you're squeezing it, it's very firm. It reminds me of sort of the carbon plated base that we're gonna have in our Carbon X. So like this little bottom piece on the yellow here, like that firmness that you're gonna feel, that's what the base of our Mach 4 feels like. So it's gonna give you that more springy, energized return while still giving you something soft when you're landing on. So it really is almost that like trampoline effect as you're going through it. And you can even tell kind of by looking at it, there's some sort of mirroring of the two as well. So it's sort of looking at some of the things that we like on the Carbon X2. You can sort of see they stole that little heel divot there that we had that was so popular in the Carbon X2 with the traditional stuff that we have going on in the Clifton, which is still their most popular everyday guy. The stack height between these two is exactly the same. The drop is still 5 millimeters. So it has that familiar feel of what you're expecting when you're putting on a Clifton, but it has those go fast characteristics that we're gonna find in the Carbon X2. A couple little things that I liked about this right away, besides the fact that it's giving people the feeling of a carbon plated shoe at a nice $130 price point, which is very nice. You're gonna kind of be able to get that speed without having to break the bank. But it fits and feels really nice. And that was one problem that we had with sort of the last versions of the Mach. It was like a very confusing shoe. It sort of had a couple ideas from this shoe that maybe just didn't work out the way they wanted to, or maybe we just didn't have as good a success with it, but it had sort of some different density levels to it, but it wasn't full throughout the shoe the way this is. It also had some fit issues. Like we felt like we were moving people around up, down. It was almost too bunchy up here through the toe box, where this seems to fit better. And that's one of the nice things we've been seeing with a lot of the Hoka stuff coming down the board is that it seems to be fitting truer to size, and it seems to be that its stuff doesn't feel so goofy and big on your foot. People that were coming in and getting shoes, some of the older versions of the Clifton or like the last version of the Iraqi, like it was almost too big if you had sort of a narrow or normal foot, where this seems to fit your foot much better. It has a nice gusseted tongue in there, so it does feel like it's holding your foot a little bit better. I love the step-in heel cup to it. That's sort of, as you can see, things that we're changing on a lot of our Hoka shoes. So it has some nice little marrying of things that have worked for Hoka as it's going down the line, while still giving it a unique feel with that double layers of cushion and density to it. So this is a shoe that Hoka's really putting a lot of money and advertisement and energy behind, because it is people that got to watch everybody going after the record here recently with Walmsley and said like, I want to be able to go and put on a shoe like that, but maybe I don't want to spend that kind of money. And especially if I don't want to be just dedicating money to a shoe that's going to be a race day shoe, or a shoe that really, again, might be a special day kind of shoe. This is going to be able to give you a shoe that you can do your everyday miles in. And that's sort of what they're really trying to put a lot of their marketing and such behind is this is going to be your everyday trainer. And maybe it's not going to replace the Clifton for you, but I think that's where a lot of people are going to want to go, because it is a shoe that like, it's sort of the best of both worlds there. Is now I have that cushion and protection where I can just go out and run a long distance in it, but I still feel fast and responsive in it. So you can use this shoe every day and not feel like you're wasting miles on it like you might in this, and you're still going to have the protection and the softness with this. So this is your everyday trainer while still giving you that responsive feel to it. I'm excited to see, the durability on it. And going back to like the Rincon and the Rincon 2, they were trying to find that really light shoe that you were going to be able to do some everyday training in, and it just didn't quite have the durability that people were expecting. And I know we had that issue with that shoe too. And we're hoping that this one, because it is more of a firm feeling rubber-based blend with the foam on the bottom, that it's going to give you a little bit of extra durability. The other nice thing with this shoe is it's lighter than both of these shoes. It weighs less than your Clifton, and it's gonna weigh less than your Carbon X. I mean, you can put it on and you can feel that it's lighter and it's snappier. A lot of times when you put on a super light shoe, you start thinking like, am I gonna be protected enough? I mean, it's really nice putting on a lightweight shoe, but am I gonna be protected to go out and run on a if I'm getting ready for a half marathon or something and my training run calls for like a 12-mile run on a Saturday, am I gonna be protected enough to feel like I'm not putting myself at risk for injury, or just the feeling of like you can feel everything underneath your foot? And that's sometimes when you have a really low drop, low stack height shoe that you're putting on and you want to go out and run a longer feeling run in, you can almost feel the ground beneath you, and you're not going to have that with this. With a 27 millimeter stack height shoe with an extra density level on the bottom to it, you're gonna feel great, you're gonna feel fast, you're gonna feel efficient, you're gonna feel springy in it. So this is a really nice addition to the Hoka shoe. And going back to like what this shoe was, I almost wish we would have changed the name of it completely and just sort of gone away with it. We had actually the guy who started this channel with us, who used to do all the filming and the editing, he was a speedy 800 meter runner. He was a 154 800 meter guy, and he wore a Kavu, and he wore the Mach 2 when he was doing like track workouts and tempo stuff. It wasn't necessarily an everyday trainer for him, because that's not what his goal of that shoe was. It was just a workout shoe, and that's sort of what we sort of took what he was using with it, and we would tell people like, this is that great shoe if you're looking to do maybe some workouts and blah, blah, blah. So now we can pull this shoe and say, hey, I know what we may have talked to you about the Mach, but now this is the new Mach. This is gonna be your everyday training Mach, and here's all the great benefits to it. So I kind of almost wish they changed the name, because it is so different. But you're gonna see a lot of this shoe out in runner's world and all over advertisement, because Hoka is really putting a lot of energy behind it. And we've been so excited to get it. We were hoping to get this shoe around Valentine's Day, and it hasn't quite arrived yet. Just like everything, things have been a little bit delayed with shipping, but by the time you see this review, it's out and you'll be able to get it on our website. And if you do, you can always enter promo code RUNMORE, one word, 2 O's and more, like my last name, and you'll save 10%. We'll ship it out for free if you want to support our local shop. If you have any questions on this shoe, or if you ran in the previous versions, I'd love to get your input on it, especially on the fit and feel. If you felt like it was a little awkward, I'm curious always to see what people's thoughts were on the previous version and how it fit and feel to them. So any questions or comments or thoughts on the last version, feel free to leave it down below, and like and subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does help us find new people. And I hope you enjoyed these videos, and stay safe out there, and happy running. Thanks.